Welcome to another edition of the Amazons and Afripreneur interview series from the stable of Agbari Multimedia Company, where we showcase and celebrate Amazons and Afripreneurs on the African continent. Our mission, like I always say every time, is to inspire you into greatness, and as we celebrate the winning Amazons and Afripreneurs in Africa. Like I always say again, if you have any questions, any comments, suggestions, anything at all, feedbacks, would love that. Please drop them in the comment section and we'll surely treat and get back to you. Today, I am here with an Amazon that has distinguished herself in the business world. Before bringing her up, let's get to know a little about her. Please listen to her bio.
Adetoun Akitoye, fondly known as Heres, is a PhD student and assistant lecturer in the Department of Chemistry, University of Lagos. She graduated tops in her class at both the BSc Industrial Chemistry and MSc Material Chemistry levels, where she led in both sets as the class governor. She is passionate about food security and is the CEO of Heres Food Innovations, formerly Oki Foods. Her PhD is also focused on food security, developing biosensors and materials for mitigating cassava deterioration. She is the founder of the Mademoiselle Foundation, an initiative that grooms girls for leadership and excellence through her dream for scholarships, education, and literacy programs, her future for skills development and talent promotion. She loves writing and is the author of The Journal of a Young Schoolgirl, How Students Can Fly in Colors, the Poetic Psalms, and Productive Living series. Adetoun has received several awards and grants, including the Best Paper Award in Agripreneurship Track, Nairobi, Kenya, 2022, Tech Women Award, Washington, D.C., USA, 2022, Award for Global Impact, Lagos, Nigeria, 2021, World Connect USA Grant for Mademoiselle Community Library, 2019, Lagos State Research and Innovation Council Last Week Grant, 2020, Top 3 Exceptional Youths in Lagos State, 2015. Her other interests have given birth to several leadership roles and initiatives, such as Heres Creatives and STEM Skills Initiative as a co-founder.
Permit me to say, welcome, Heres Adetoun. Welcome to the show. Just a moment. Welcome, Heres Adetoun. It's an honor to interview you here because your bio, I just listened. I just, fell in love listening again and again. You're into so many things. But sometimes we fail to capture it all. Is there any part of your bio that you think we've not captured, or is there something else about yourself that you'd love to share?
Okay, so coming from you saying it's an honor to interview me, I'm just really blushing here. I'm sure you can see that. it's an honor to actually be the one speaking with you. I really appreciate that. And of course, I didn't really know I was an Amazon until now, so it's good news. Thank you.
Most times
Thank
you
you very
don't
much.
realize before winning, you're doing great. So, and our business is to find you and bring you out to inspire others.
Thank you. Okay, so what's in my bio that you probably didn't know? Okay, first of all, let me just start it light. I didn't plan to be a lecturer. I could have actually been an actress, a broadcaster, a full-time writer. But one thing has brought me here. I love to challenge myself. And that's why, I didn't just stop at just being a writer or being an actress. I'm in the sciences. So I think that's something to note. So, some people expect me to be really smart because I'm in science class, but I could have actually been a broadcaster.
Are you challenging me? Don't worry. I'm going to go into sciences myself. I think I loved science so much in junior secondary. So I'm going to go back
Oh,
there.
I'm not in a competition.
No, it's not a competition. No. Now that I'm interviewing you, you want to be where I want to be where you are. So you are the founder of Heres Food Innovations, and I was wondering, you could have just been a lecturer and be fine. What made you venture into that despite all that you have qualified in?
Okay, so it's a good thing that you're starting on this note because I wasn't sure how you were going to interview me or what you're going to interview me as. If you're going to interview me as the founder of Mademoiselle or Heiress Innovation Company, but I think since you decided to come this route, yes, I could have been just a lecturer, but I have a broad perspective of life. I have a broader perspective of life. So just so that I don't miss out on your question, how exactly did you ask that question?
How did you venture into food innovation? That's
Okay, how did I
because we're getting to all other things that you're doing. You're too multi-talented, so I'll get to all of them eventually.
okay, how did I get into food innovation? Okay, so my research is actually in food security. But before then, I had always wanted to do something in the food. So the moment I knew that I was going to chemistry, or I wanted to go to chemistry because I was going into food production, I knew that I wanted to do something with regards to food innovation. So thankfully, life kept on directing me in the path of food. So my BSc research project was on using or on comparing fresh fruit juice with the packaged fruit juice. And this actually birthed my first company, which is Pink Drinks. So I started to use my mom's backyard recipe to produce ginger ales and ginger drinks. And that's how I actually started business. So from there, I began to grow and expand into things. So while I progressed with my studies, MSc project was my project was on cassava. And so I began to think what I could do with cassava. What innovations can I bring to cassava that will make it stand out as a crop, which has been underutilized initially. So that came from masters, and I started my food company, Innovation Orchard Foods, at master's level. And then there came PhD. And then my supervisor is like, I was trying to even think of something else to do because I didn't want to streamline myself too much. And so my supervisor is like, why are you digressing? This cassava, you must do it. I think it's nice, a good one, and you've done it well at master's level. So that's how I am now in PhD food security board. I'm focusing on cassava. And because I'd already started the business, even though on a small scale at master's level, I just began to grow it little by little daily. And that's how I actually ventured into it. So I'm trying to raise a company, a food innovation company that can actually begin to compete with brands like PepsiCo, Kellogg's, maybe Danone. So the dream is very big, and it's a good thing that it was my research that charted the path for me
Exactly.
into that field. So yeah.
So I wanted to talk about how you funded all of this, but hearing that it was your BSc research that you founded that started this whole thing into your master's research. Did you need assistance at any point? Was the funding so huge that at some point it could have discouraged, or was your personal fund just enough for you?
Okay, I needed assistance along the way. Even from school, from university days, I was on scholarship in university. So I started university as a scholar. So I got a scholarship by the then governor of Lagos State, Babasuni Raji Fashola, and that took me through school. So the good thing was that that gave me some extra money. Like after paying school fees, I would still have like extra money to do something. So that's actually how I started Mademoiselle Foundation. I would use part of my money, my scholarship money, for to run the organization. But how did I really start the orchard food? So as when I graduated from BSc level, I actually wrote a book and I launched it. And by launching the book, I got like some funds from the launch that I used to start the business. I won't say I was really consistent. I didn't even know I was going to do it. I was going to sometime do it really big, but I just started from those small steps. So I would say I was assisted, and the scholarship funds was what paved the way for me, so that I could have extras to think of other people and think of something else that I could do. I got a grant for my PhD, and that's the last grant that was ready. bio. So I think that, I mean, that has always also been a source of support. So from my BSc to my master's to my PhD, I've been on one scholarship or another. So for me, it's been a blessing. I mean, to just have your school fees taken care of, so that you can think of something else and think of helping other people.
So I love that you're willing to share. Some people would withhold some of this information about how assisted or how they got assistance. But even though some people get assisted, they still get distracted. The world is, people love glamour, wealth, status. You got phones, you want to show off, use the latest phones. Let's talk standards now. Constantly, we see standards being lowered every day around us in Nigeria, in Africa, in our daily lives. Using your own area of specialization, how did you stay focused? What would you say about, bringing back standards to our daily lives?
Okay, that question is quite apt, and I think I like the fact that it's actually apt, because I said something about myself, how I challenged myself to science class. I mean, I could have just been an art student and said, okay, I could stay here, but I love challenging myself. So, and challenging yourself is about raising the bar for yourself. It's about setting high standards for yourself. So, a little story about me. When I was in primary school, I wasn't really good at any subject. Maybe English I was okay, or other subjects I could not just compete with any other person. And so I decided I was going to change that narrative, and I decided I was going to change it once I entered into secondary school. So I challenged myself at first, and I mean, one of the good things that happened to me when I was in secondary school was that this was somebody that was not good at math or any kind of subject. But while I got into JS1, I was made the class rep. What's it called? Class rep thing. I can't remember what
Yes.
it's called.
Yes,
Class
yes, yes.
captain. Yes,
Oh,
I was
yes.
made the class captain. Yeah,
Okay.
for math in the entire
Yeah.
school for myself. And that was because I demonstrated excellence. So I went from not being sure whether to do science to being one of the top students in my school. That's in university, which eventually got me retained as a graduate assistant. GS1, I was very good at math, and this was me coming from a place where I wasn't good at all. But during the break between primary six and GS1, I read the entire math textbook, so that when I got into GS1, I was really great at math. People thought I was smart. They didn't know where I was coming from. And where I was coming from, I could not even have a good conversations with other students, but I felt really, really low. I mean, smart in a way that I could talk and everything, but when it came to the subject, I wasn't really good. So sciences didn't come naturally to me. From GS3, I needed to make a decision. Do I want to keep at science, or should I go to art class? And then I began to have that conversation with myself. And I said, oh, I have inherent talent in art, so I could write, I could act. And I was like, okay, since that comes naturally to me, why do I need to go and study it again? Let me challenge myself and expand my brain to something more challenging. So that's how I got into science class in SS1. And I want you to note something here. If I did not have the grades for sciences, I would not have been able to make that as an option. I would not have been able to take that as an option. So I challenged myself from GS3 to SS1. And then even after school, I was like, okay, so what should I study? Should I do economics? Should I do sciences? Or should I go back to my dream, which is English? And I told myself, I need to challenge myself, because I saw myself owning something really big. And I really do not see a lot of art people then. I didn't really see them as entrepreneurs. I didn't see them in the production line. So I felt like I needed to study. It's a myth now for me, because you can actually be anything anywhere you choose. But I mean, I just thought that I needed to do something in sciences to go into manufacturing. I said, okay, I'm going to study chemistry. And you see, I ended up graduating top in my class. I was top 3 students, and I was retained in the class. And you can see from this story how I kept on challenging myself. I wasn't supposed to study industrial chemistry, but I challenged myself. I had the grades for industrial chemistry. So when others decided to settle to study chemistry, I went for industrial chemistry. And after chemistry, I got good grades. I could do MSc. After MSc, I got good grades. I could do PhD. So this was me. Like, I mean, had the past where you could say I would fall low in the class. I'll fall bottoms in the class. I wasn't always bright. I mean, I was smart, but I wasn't always academically bright. But I always challenge myself for excellence. So in Africa, in Nigeria, I believe that if we all can actually challenge ourselves to become better at what we do and to stop lowering the standards, lowering standards of even our leadership, even the leaders that we choose. The moment we stop lowering that standard, I think Africa is going to be a great continent to reckon with. So it's about challenging ourselves individually, and then collective efforts will come together to raise the standards again for Africa. So I hope that answers your question.
It does. And it's a lot of information. So I'll give our listeners some time to digest it. Always challenge yourself. Leave your soft areas. So some people will say in inspiring that, follow your passion, follow the areas that come easily and naturally to you. It just might not be. It might be that, those areas where you have not, you don't find have fun doing are the areas of success that you need to challenge yourself to conquer. So I'll go on a short break so that everybody can digest this information. When I come back, we'll continue the interview. Okay, so welcome back. And I totally enjoying my interview with Eris Adetoun. I would love to just stick to Eris. Reason is because that name alone shows that she's a queen and more in the business. But you see, you've
Amen.
done
I
so
think
well.
that.
You've done, in fact, you've done exceptionally well. And
Thank
I listened to your bio, so many awards you've received, you've written books, you have an NGO, you founded things early, you started early. I'd like you to share with our listeners some strategies that you know or how you see risk and challenges and what's your strategy to facing them are.
Okay, thank you for that question, and thank you for, I mean, hyping me. I mean, you said I'm a queen and more. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Okay, so I won't say that I'm full of strategies or something like that. I am actually not full of strategies. I want to say that it's been God, but of course I put in some hard work to get to where I am. So yes, the God factor is very paramount in my life, but we all cannot just sit back and say, oh, we're waiting for the God factor. We need to put in some work. So for me, I think that what has really helped me is that I know what I want, or when I know what I want, I go for it and I go all out for it because it takes some time to know what I want. I could be very indecisive. So I could vacillate on what I want to do at any point in time. But the moment I am sure that I want to do this, it takes only God to stop me from doing it. That's the truth. So I know what I want and I go for it. So I gave you an example of how I started Mademoiselle Foundation. I started Mademoiselle Foundation when I was in school. When I needed money, I could have used my money for something else. I could have used my scholarship money for something else. To flex, buy phones and stuff. But I was using my money
Abi?
for the foundation, yes. And I was also I was using the money for my foundation, and I was also saving. I was like saving for some other things that I wanted to do, and I also used some part of the money. I won't say I use it for the books, but I mean this way, the money was security for me because I had it somewhere. So I was able to go all out to use my foundation to help my foundation with my personal fund. Even when I stopped getting those scholarships, I was using my allowance. It's actually a risk to put your own money into something that will not even give you any return. Like it's such a risk. So speaking about risk, I risked everything because I wanted to help girls in my community. So for me, that was what I wanted to do. and I would stop at nothing to get it done. So that's one. So in terms of challenges, I would say that of course I've had challenges. Everybody has challenges in life. Life is full of challenges, but you have to know, how to maneuver your way or how to find your way through challenges and take lessons from it. For me, I take a lot of lessons from my challenges. So one of the greatest challenges I have, or one great challenge that I have is with some of my writings and getting them published. When I write a book, the first thing I'm thinking is, how do I get this book published? But that didn't stop me from writing. I have 4 books. I have 5. So I'm writing another one. So I have not allowed challenges stop me. And I'm ready to put in everything, my time and everything, to whatever I decide I'm going to do at any point in time. Because you know the truth, these things, they add up. At the end of the day, you may feel like you're not getting money from the foundation. So why do you even need to put anything to it? I could have felt like I'm not even getting money from my books. I remember my first book. I got a lot of money from my first book. So I just imagine, okay, got a lot of money at that level. When I say a lot of money, relatively, I just stepped out of school and then I got the book launched by some people like the then governor of Lagos State, the Oba of Lagos State. So I had some small money in my pocket, but I did not allow that. I did not feel like, okay, I'd arrived. Yes, I still went on to write other books. And honestly, other books did not give me the same outturn of what it gave me, but I've still not stopped writing. So what is important is that I take learnings through all of these processes. I do not stop. I do not feel like, okay, it's hard, let me stop now. I'm able to stand up whenever I fall. There were times where even in school, I didn't feel good enough because I'm like, okay, especially when I came in back for my master's, I didn't feel good enough for chemistry because I'd lost it. I felt like I didn't even want to do chemistry. I didn't want to have anything to do with chemistry. I'd broken up with chemistry for the rest of my life, But then I found myself back in. Yeah, I found myself back in. And it's funny. I almost did not remember the formula for water. H2O. I'm actually exaggerating. But I had to me, I was like, okay, that's a challenge. I went back to the books and I, tried to own my skill again in chemistry. So the main thing, take learnings through every life processes. When you now take learnings can help you with strategies, and learnings can help you build systems that can work for you with your principles. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, you've answered it perfectly. So first, spare nothing once you're clear. Once you have clarity about what you're going for, spare nothing. That's what you said. And then the next one, take learnings as you go. So when you
Yes.
fall by the way, take learnings and continue. I love that. I'm really, really, really enjoying this conversation. But just while you were answering this question, you mentioned Mademoiselle Foundation again, and it sparked something because I volunteer for some foundation. I'm on the board of some foundations, and one of such foundations I was called in 2016 to join was just after the birth of my son was for Boy to campaign, the Boy to campaign, and so I would like to know what brought about the idea of grooming girls. Is it just because you're a female, or did you have anything in your background that you really wanted to change in girls' leadership? What exactly would you say inspired that?
Okay, thank you, ma. So I like the fact that there are lots of boys foundation coming up now, and I wish them good luck. So I didn't start like the foundation because I wanted to start an all girls foundation. I didn't even plan it that way, because even sometimes now people are like thinking, oh, am I a feminist? I'm like, I don't even know what that is like. It has nothing. Mademoiselle Foundation has nothing to do with feminism. So the reason why I actually started was because when I was growing up, I lacked these mentors that I wanted. So I'm like the last born of my family, and I'm like the only girl. I'm actually the only girl. So I didn't have anybody to look up to in terms of big sister. I didn't have like that big sister figure. And I needed to make decisions that, there's some things that you cannot just walk up to your mom and tell her about, like, oh, this person is asking me out. Should I agree for the person or should I not? There's some conversations that barrier is there. But if I had a big sister, I would have, gone to her to ask her for counsels about relationship, about my career, about what I wanted to do with my future. So I actually lacked the presence of mentors. I didn't even know anything because I think the construct of mentorship started coming up after my foundation. Maybe that's where I became aware. So I was just looking for the big sisters, and I wanted to be a big sister to many people coming after me. So I wanted to create an environment where the girls that were coming after me could have an opportunity or a platform that I never had to speak to somebody concerning their careers, concerning their relationship, and then to have somebody that could guide them and raise them through it. So that was actually how it all began. I was on scholarship, and I also thought about it that some girls are like me, they do not have money to fund their education. So I was also using my money for supporting some of the girls going to jam classes, buying their jam forms. Because I just know that many people do not get to talk about these things, but a lot of girls have limitations, especially considering the area I came from. It was a lot. You will see girls getting pregnant, and the girls of my age, they were all getting pregnant, and I was like, no, I wanted to be more than this. I wanted to be able to do something for myself and for the girls coming after me. I wanted them to be able to look up to me. I wanted to create a platform to bring other women, successful young girls or young ladies to the platform so that they could learn from such people. So that was the driving factor. That was how I began the foundation. I think it really paid off because I hear I
It
hear a
is.
lot of good feedback, yes, about the girls that I do mentor. So
It is great. It is great that you thought about this. I had never thought about it because I had privilege. I had sisters, all girls, just a boy. I had aunties, my mom, and my I could go to my dad talk about my choices of dates and all of that. So I'm hearing that there's this need. I found out later some girls had to deal with all of that, but I had to deal with it at home. My parents just created I call it a secure, sheltered life, so that whatever it is in life you wanted to talk about, you could do within the house. But it's great that you thought there was that need and you feel that vacuum for a lot of girls whose homes were not sheltered like mine. I found out later a lot of my friends dealt with issues that you handled in that foundation. And this will bring me to, how you would advise a young girl who wants to be like you as they're stepping into campus as an undergrad, the choices that they need to make to become an heiress in future, what would you say they should do?
okay, so I be yourself. But seek to be the best version of yourself. I think that's really important. So you're not losing yourself by trying to be Harris. Harris is an identity for me, and I know why I personally adopted that identity. So for me, I would say be yourself, be your best self, and then think of what you really want to do while you step into campus or any aspect of your life that you're stepping into, and think of what you want to be, how you want to be addressed in the next couple of years to come. Do you want to just be like, some of these things will not matter. Some of the clothes that you bought then might not matter in the next few years. So begin to think of how you are going to impact your community, no matter how little it is. Begin to think of how you want to be seen in the next few years. And I think that's going to go a long way helping you make decisions every day. The moment you know where you're going, right, it will be easy for you to just flow into it and then know what it is that you want to do. And do not be scared of failures. I've had my fair shares of failure. I felt like a failure when I taught students chemistry once. That was when I was serving, but it ended up being a big testimony because one of my biggest books that I wrote was from that failure in quotes. And then the students also keep giving testimonies as to how this has helped them. So do not ever see yourself as a failure. Every failure should be a stepping stone for you. Be your best version and do not stop learning. Think of what you want to be in years to come and
To
work
come here.
every single day as though you were working to that dream, that passion, and that future that
I
you
love
saw.
that. I love that. So see your future first, get clarity about what you want it to be. If you need mentoring, join a foundation like the Mademoiselle Foundation to help you get clarity, and then focus. Be the best version of yourself. Take every step. I'm trying to, so that when they're listening, take every step towards that ultimate goal. I hope that the viewers are listening, but I cannot let you live here without defining success and failure to us, because you use that when you fail, you get up. I want you to bring it to, to scenarios. How do you see success and failure? Because some people, when they don't have clarity about these two things, it's difficult to move in life for them.
Oh wow! I won't say I would like. I don't even know how to define. I mean, success and failure.
How do you see
But
both?
I just use the story of myself, how I took failure. So it was really important that when I was a volunteer chemistry teacher, it was really important that the students understood what I was teaching. Yes, they had a bad foundation in the subject, but I did not take that as an excuse and tell myself, okay, their foundation is bad. Why there's nothing I can do about it. I decided that I was going to make them know chemistry. And I failed at it because, I mean, when I conducted the first test, almost all the students failed. And I felt really bad. I cried and I prayed. And I told God to help me, that I needed the students to understand. And God started giving me different strategies. And I took back the strategies to the classroom. I played games with the students. We worked on puzzles. We did debates. I mean, for chemistry, it was a lot. So I gave the students a whole new experience to learning that I personally enjoyed every bit of it. We sang songs, we composed songs for different parts of chemistry. We even made artworks. Actually, there was one time we drew the periodic table on the assembly field. We drew all the students, so it was like a project. Everybody's excited about it. So I used my failure to think of strategies that I could use. And I saw how my students improved so greatly, not only in the chemistry subject, but they apply those strategies to other subjects. And up until now, I still get testimonies of how my methods have helped them so far. And the interesting thing, I birthed a book from that experience, How Students Can Fly in Color. I want to say How Students Can Fly in Color is one of my most successful books because that helped a lot of Nigerian students. And for me, I could have just said, "Oh, I mean, I failed as a teacher. I'm not going to continue." So I use that failure as a stepping stone. And I think it should be for everybody else. There's nothing like failure. Nobody fails. There's really nothing. You have only failed if you refuse to learn, to take lessons from that so-called failure and turn it into something that you can use. That's when you have actually failed.
Yes.
Besides that, nobody
Yes.
ever fails at anything. A failure should be like a stepping stone to doing greater things. And I hope that this makes a lot of sense to you.
I hope so too. I hope those listening it makes sense. So do not stop. When you stop, that's when you fail. But you keep
Yeah.
learning and taking lessons, you continue being a success. Adetoun, I won't let you leave without sharing with us. We know you have Mademoiselle Foundation, but your social media handles. So you're someone people should start to study to to pick mentorship in. So do you have a mentorship group aside your foundation, or do you have ways that you do things that you do on social media and your social media handles so that our listeners can follow you?
Okay, yes, I have a phobia for social media. So, but I mean, if you want to catch me on any social media, it will be WhatsApp. But I mean, I also have like some things I can share. So for the foundation, it's MFDN online. That's for the foundation, is MFDN online.
Um,
Yes, I teach
all
other
right.
things like my productive living series at Eres Nation. That's on Instagram. Eres Nation, Eres underscore Nation on Instagram. Eres Nation on YouTube. And then I'm Adetoun Harris Akitoye on Facebook. So I get to share some boring things. I mean, I have somebody that manages those pages for me and ensures that their
So,
content is complete.
just a moment. Okay, so I want them to capture that again. Please take it again. Heiress Nation on Instagram.
Yes,
Heiress underscore nation on Instagram. So on YouTube, you have a YouTube channel. Please share
yes.
that.
Heiress Nation. Heiress
Heiress
Nation.
Nation. So that's all. Heiress Nation on YouTube. I'll be following you right away. And your foundation is MFDN Online. And
Yes.
the final one, Facebook.
Yes, Adetoun Harris Akitoye.
Okay, on Facebook, Adetoun Harris Akitoye. But I think if you're listening to today's interview, find her on YouTube and see all the series of things that you can learn on that
Okay.
page and follow on Instagram because young people need
Okay, I
mentors.
promise to
Some
be
people are
I promise to be active now because I've not been active on YouTube for 2 years, but I'm going to be active because of you, because you also
okay. Please
inspired.
start being active. Oh, I do. Wow, I love
Yeah,
that. Thank you so much. I'm humbled. So please, if you're watching, you're listening, find her on all social media platform and make sure you continue learning and for listening to today's interview. But to Eris, I must say thank you so much on your behalf of Agbari Multimedia Company. Thank you for your time and for your wonderful counsel. I hope everybody listening today learned something because I have notes. I have learned.
it's
And
been
I
a
hope you
pleasure,
have
Ma.
notes. Thank
It's
you
been a
so
pleasure.
much. I mean, very grateful. Thank you for coming. I hope next time when you have your next book, I will call you and you come again.
No problem, man. Then I just wanted to commend you for all the great stuff that you're doing. I mean, I went through all the interviews and I was actually hoping that, okay, I mean, I hope you get to interview me too because I liked the way you talk to the people that you were with and the people you interviewed. So you're doing great, and I'm very much Multimedia is also doing great. Thank you for making me an Amazon.
I hope my guy at the top is listening. I hope I get feedback from him. I hope he's listening so that he'll put more reward for me. Thank you so
Yes.
much. I'm indeed grateful. Thank you for joining me. Have a
All
nice
right, my
day.
pleasure. Have a nice
Yeah,
day too, mom. Bye.
thank you. And to our viewers for watching, thank you for watching. Please stay tuned and don't forget to like, share on all our social media pages, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Till I come your way again next time. Be inspired by this interview and get ready to be the next Amazon and Afripreneur to be celebrated right here. Bye.